Hey, it's Ghost with Combat Sports Supply. Today we're going to be going over the Cthulhu pistol. So what is the Cthulhu pistol? It is released by Lancer. We're not entirely sure who makes it at this point, but it is a licensed TandemKross replica of a Ruger that is for the target shooting community, and they actually have a bunch of licensed replica parts on it from TandemKross. Alright, so what do you get in the box with this pistol? You may have noticed from the time lapse there is a lot in the box that comes with this. So it is going to come with a test report attached to the trigger guard of the pistol, O-ring repair kit for the pistol, a little hard to see, but it's got a replacement O-ring for everything. Has an RMR plate ready to go. You just have to remove the rear sight block, muzzle thread cover, charging handle, and a muzzle brake if you're so inclined. The pistol, obviously. Well, this has 2 warning cards that come in addition to the manual. These are important. They have very good information on them. Pay attention to them. Let's go over the features of this airsoft pistol. There are a number of features that are very similar to an AAP. It's technically based off of that platform, but this one comes with a charging handle in the box, which mounts over the edges of the wings of the bolt instead of to the back of the bolt. That charging handle. So you do have a rear fiber sight. It is adjustable for elevation and windage. And underneath the charging handle, you have your breakdown. Next, we have the safety, which on this is extended and much easier to manipulate. Next, we have the grip plates. They are replaceable. Down at the bottom of the grip, we have a lanyard attachment, but it is mounted via set screws, so you can theoretically swap this out for anything that fits in the grip. Moving on, we have your slide release, or bolt release in this case, your magazine release, an extended thumb rest, and your competition style trigger. So that thumb rest took me a little getting used to because I'm not used to holding them like that. I hold them here, but it's for resting your thumb on. So at least in real shooting, this would provide more positive control on the way the gun recoils and moves. Moving on to the other side of it, it does have an open bolt assembly that should allow access to the hop-up. In my experience, you generally have to open this up to get to the hop-up, which involves pushing that button on the back and hinging it open. We'll show you that later. Now on top, you'll notice a Picatinny rail. You can mount an optic on here, or if you're not inclined to keep it up here, there are mount points on the underside of the barrel for it, and you can put an accessory down there. We have the fluted barrel assembly, which I think is a really nice addition in how they built this because it looks pretty. So up front, we have another fiber sight. It is a different color so that you can actually, witness the sights and figure out where you're aiming. Now you'll notice we have the compensator attached here. There is an O-ring that mounts underneath it to friction lock it in place. Underneath this, it does have the US required blaze orange tip. One thing I just noticed about this is there is threading inside the end of this compensator, which means you could theoretically get an adapter and put a tracer unit on the end of it. Now underneath that rear sight block, there is a mount for this RMR plate you would have seen earlier in the unboxing. That's one of the 2 mount screws holes for it. There's another one underneath this sight block. You'd have to remove it entirely. Alright, let's get into the rest of the airsoft specs for this thing. Starting with the magazine. It is a green gas magazine. Fills through the bottom just like all green gas mags, except for some of the newer gen ones that fill on the back. It holds approximately 24 rounds. You can run red gas in the winter, and they function just like a normal green gas mag. They're awesome. It is a Glock-style replica, and I believe it's based off of the Umarex design, so anything that works on a Umarex will work in this pistol. Well, since we're running green gas, how's it shooting? According to the spec sheet, somewhere between 320 and 350 FPS, which is perfect for indoor CQB combat. It is a select fire pistol. Your selection is underneath the bottom of the bolt. So to change the firing mode on this, there's the little lever that's underneath here. It is very stiff, so that it doesn't pop loose on its own, but you heard that click. But there's an A on this side and a 1 on this side. The A is for automatic, the 1 is for semi-automatic. As far as taking this thing apart, as I told you earlier, there's this button back here. You're going to push it down, and the whole thing hinges open and pulls apart. For those of you that have seen our AAP01 video, you're going to notice this looks very similar. It takes the exact same maintenance as the AAP01. As far as adjusting the hop up, it's these 2 wheels here. Technically, you're supposed to be able to access this back one from inside the bolt opening, but I've never been able to, so I just adjusted from here. So you see the wheels there. You can technically get to them from here. They're still in the back there. It's just, I don't know how I'd get to them without breaking anything inside of this. Put it back together once you've got it adjusted. You got that bar in the front. It mounts into the tooth here. Can be a little finicky once it's seated. Roll it closed, push the button to lock it, and you're done. We've gone over the whole pistol. You'll notice it comes with most of the accessories you could possibly want on a pistol to begin with. It's a nice touch. They currently only come in red. They may eventually make them in different colors. So as far as other stuff you can do to this, well, there really isn't a ton, at least at this point. It is similar to the AAP01, but it is much different in terms of build. So a lot of the parts don't cross-populate, but it's based off of a competition shooting pistol. So it's already built to the extent of a competition shooting pistol, which is why there isn't a lot you can do to these. Alright, so my final thoughts on this thing are, it's a really awesome pistol. It functions well, it functions reliably. My only concern is people, and it's covered in those 2 warning notes, overshooting it and freezing it and breaking O-rings.
Don't be a fool!